Hello. Hopefully I hit the right button. Make sure here.
This is the story of the one. As a quality technician in a food processing center, she knows that making the right call
Yeah,
is
what
the
the hell?
best way.
Make sure I hit the right button here. All right. We are live. Good afternoon, America and world. The shadows in here are crazy. I gotta get better lighting, man. I got all kinds of lights on me right now. Should I turn that other spotlight on me? But it'd be too bright. Good cup of coffee. Let me go over to this side. Let me see what that looks like. I think that's the frame right there. That's the frame. All right. All right. Welcome in. Welcome in. Good to see you joining in. Thank you very much. Today's topic is what is recovery? And I'm not talking about just alcohol and substances, but life in general from whatever is getting in the way of you having a better life. Um, I'm not sure. Let me go. I'm going to like myself. How is that? Um, I made a commitment to be here today to have a conversation with everyone. I can't tell. This stuff is all fancy schmancy. I guess it's got to be this way a little bit, huh? Okay, there we go. So, yeah, what is recovery? We'll wait for some folks to chime in. Maybe I caught everybody at noontime and I need to put more shorts out at noon rather than these long forms. What book was I reading? Hold that thought. I'm going to be right back. I got to get a book. Wow. I left for 2 seconds to get a book and y'all showed up on me. Heidi ho. Dominu, Connie, Marita, welcome. Oh, dang, I can see it down here. I got my computer in front of me too so I can read comments. I'm a little not too young anymore, so technology gets in the way. Wow. Welcome in, everyone. Give a couple of seconds. Appreciate you all coming to join. If I look down, I'm just looking at comments because my phone's way over here and I'm half blind. Um, my name's Lance Wright. I'm a recovery addiction specialist. And today I want to bring a conversation around what is recovery and maybe what is addiction so we know what we're recovering from. Maybe you know someone that struggles with alcohol or substance abuse or other life problems, or maybe you yourself are. And maybe today we can learn a little bit about what recovery is and isn't. Let me see who's joining in here. Tape, welcome in. You're from the Ukraine, Connie? Welcome, man, welcome. I'm from Long Beach, California, down here in Southern California, LBC. Um, Moved here with my wife about 8, 9 years ago. Ended up buying a home and settling in and love the community. Um, as an addiction provider, Los Angeles and Orange County are filled with opportunity for change and supporting people in a better life. Every day I get up, I get to live that by helping other people. Some of you may know my story, some maybe not. Hey, I'm gonna if I mispronounce your name, apologies up front. Hi, bro. Serhuat, Carisha, California, Long Beach. So let's jump in. Um, and I hope you get something from these few moments of our conversation around what is recovery. And so basically, let's jump off. And if you have any questions as I'm going, I'll do my best to catch them and monitor and answer the questions that you have. And if I don't, leave a comment or you can leave me a PM and I will get a hold of you ASAP and respond. Um, so, what is recovery? First, let's talk about what is addiction. Addiction is a disease of the brain. It is where you've practiced something over and over and over until it becomes habitual. One moment, my cat's scratching at the door, and she's gonna drive me nuts. She's got addictions. Come on, baby. Come on. Well, come on. Get in here. Yeah, you telling the whole world you a cat, huh? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. Okay. Good baby. Yep. You're in here with Dad now. Okay. The cat is in. Well, intimate, I don't know if I want to go down that path, and that's kind of an inappropriate conversation. And I'd appreciate it if you'd respect this space because we're trying to help people. And I'm not even going to get on no big old horse. I'm no better than anybody, but I don't really want to go down a path of disrespecting anyone. And so, anyway, if y'all see a negative comment, pay no mind. People trolling. I love it. More power to them. As long as it's if it's racist, I'll go in and I'll edit it out. But I don't believe in that kind of stuff. I think we're all one people, and the sooner we come to realize that, the better off we'll be. Mutual respect is a gift. Um, and over the 32 years of my own sobriety, having survived a life sentence in prison, going through a lot growing up, a lot of trauma and pain, addiction and helping people that are stuck in it is important to me. And this is serious work. And so, troll away or engage and maybe find something that can help you or a loved one that's struggling. So, what is addiction? Starting back over now that the cat settled down. Addiction is a disease of the brain. It's chronic, it's a learned habitual pattern of behavior over time. And really, it's just addiction is a habit with progressive consequences. And it's usually the result of someone escaping or avoiding something that they can't possibly or don't want to deal with, whether it's trauma or other life experience, maybe it's anxiety or depression. And oftentimes they turn to a substance to escape or medicate or minimize that. Thank you. And so, what happens is if you have trauma or you grow up in a family where there's a lot of pain or a lack of emotion or whatever that might be, and you find relief at some point in a substance or a behavior that takes that away, guess what you're going to pursue? That substance or that behavior. And so over time and repeated practice, it becomes a habit. It becomes a go-to. Like many people, when they go out drinking, they pregame. And that means having a few drinks before you go out to lower your inhibitions, take away your anxiety, and help you feel more comfortable in a crowd. And so what happens over time is it moves from social into medicinal or abuse, where I'm using this substance not necessarily for social means, but I'm using it as a means to escape. And then the more I do that, the more I need. It's called tolerance. And so as my tolerance increases, it moves from social to a place of dependency where I have to have it, or I don't know how to function without it, and I'm in trouble because then I've moved from pleasure to survival, and this becomes the sole focus of my life to live in a state of escape or obliterating that sense of self that I don't want to be a part of. I'm probably going to lose a lot of people, come and go. I appreciate you. If you stop in and there's anything here, I'd appreciate you subscribing to my channel and supporting it, or just maybe even leaving a message of hope. So anyway, addiction grows over time and it becomes a habit, a neural pathway. It's like how you tie your shoes. 1 and 1 is 2, how you play baseball. All those things are learned behavior. We're programmable beings. And so addiction is something that's been programmed into our mind over a course of time and becomes habitual and negative. Let me go down here and read. Let me go look. Enderman 66. What I meant to say is, how do you deal with trauma which just doesn't leave you alone? I appreciate that. And well, the problem with trauma that can't leave me alone is I escaped into drugs and alcohol for probably 20 years of my life. I ran away from it. I didn't want to deal with it. And all of a sudden, I found myself in a place where I was sober and I had to look at those things. And there's no way I could look at them without help. I had a support network, I had a therapist, I had people around me to help me navigate that place and understand that what happened wasn't right. But what was even worse is that what happened to me as a kid growing up, I was still living from at 30 and 35 years old. You know, it was like these belief systems that trauma from my youth instilled in me, that you can't trust people, people of certain agencies or certain locations I can't be around, they're unsafe. So I had a lot of anxiety. And drugs and alcohol and insanity helped me escape a lot of that. Okay, let me finish answering this one, little brother, and I will more than love to ask a question. One and one might be one, might be three. It depends on your math. But to me, it's two. Um, Cat's a little upset. I won't let her out now. So, anyway, neural pathways, addiction, it's just a habit that has progressive consequences, and it's a way of me coping with life, a life I can't possibly deal with, or I've lost the ability to deal with. I was just talking to some clients this morning, and a couple of them talked about, well, the topic was, how do I get past the things I'm escaping from? And that goes to your question there. I want to get this right. Blocks fruit. And it really is acceptance. Not that what happened was right, but that I can stop carrying that. I can move forward in my life without letting those people or those incidences continue to drive or affect how I live my life today. I don't think anybody wants to live in insecurity or fear or anger or resentment. I talk about porn addiction a lot. That's another form of addiction. See, that's the real issue is everybody thinks it's drugs and alcohol. An addiction really is anything that helps me escape what I don't want to deal with or what I can't deal with. And maybe it's porn, maybe it's eating, maybe it's gambling. There's a bazillion ways somebody can actually escape. And it becomes abusive and into dependency when I'm doing things that are detrimental to my life or the life of those around me, if that resonates with you. And so what happens is we come into recovery, we get sober, or we at least pause for a moment. And here we are. We're having a conversation. What do I do? I've been living in this place my entire life. My cat trying to pick the lock on the door. And so, what do I do now? I've been out of circulation for 10 years doing drugs and alcohol, maybe longer. And now I'm sober. I've forgotten and lost the ability or the skills to live a normal life. I've been doing all this stuff, and now I'm here and I don't know how to live. I've been running amok, I've been institutionalized, or whatever the circumstances might be. And now you're asking me in sobriety to just live and move on. No, I'm not. I'm asking you and sharing with you that sobriety and recovery, let me let her out because she's going to drive me crazy. Yeah, I know, you're spoiled. You're out now. Ugh. That's what happens when you adopt babies. And so what happens is you come into recovery and we've lost a lot of our skill sets. We haven't really been appropriately living our lives. And so what happens, we move forward into this space and we need help navigating re-entering society per se, and here and in our surroundings, rebuilding relationships, developing new coping skills. Let me see. I stopped counting days. Whether it's porn or drugs or alcohol or gambling, the focus should be on today. The focus should be on Perhaps instead of porn or drugs or alcohol, it's going to a meeting, going for a walk, going to the gym, replacing those behaviors and giving yourself a choice. I mean, let the days happen as they happen. I can't worry about tomorrow or yesterday. The only thing I can do is I wake up every morning when I'm working with clients. I try to, well, I don't try, I suggest that daily, every morning, they wake up and start their day with an intention and with some goals and a focus so that when they start out their day, they have a stepping stone or a roadmap of things to do. What usually happens with somebody with an addiction or addictive background that's counting days or minutes is that they get in this boredom phase where they're just doing this. Next thing you know, boredom leads to, well, let me get my phone. Let me get my laptop or my iPad. Let me call my connection. Maybe I'll just go over and hang out. I'm not going to get high. I'm not going to do that. But we've already opened the gate by giving space. And I think in early recovery, filling the days with a space where you are busy, where you're doing things, where you're active, and the less you're just sitting around doing nothing, the less likely you are you're going to drift into old behaviors. Usually it's hard at night when you're home alone. So maybe it's being connected to a group or an organization or something. There's a lot of things you can do. And I want to remove the stigma of addiction. I mean, addiction is addiction. It's manifested in many ways, but every human being struggles with addiction. Whether it's drugs, alcohol, porn, eating, work, whatever, addiction is a path of escape or a coping mechanism that a lot of people have adapted in their lives. And sometimes it looks really good. Man, he's at the gym every day for 8 hours. What's he not doing? Being with his family or being responsible or whatever. Addiction is an escape. And the gift of recovery is to embrace reality, learn how to cope and live in today, and be a better person than you were yesterday. That's all that's required. Let me see what you got to say down here. I don't know if that made any sense, Enderman, but hopefully it did a little bit. Fill your day. Start out with a plan. Maybe have a coach or a mentor or somebody in your life. I know I do that with like several clients right now where I stay, probably call 2 times a day. Usually there's a plan every day that we follow up on. To start the day, we develop a plan, and at the end of the day, we close out saying how well we did and kind of take a moment of gratitude and grace to appreciate another day without screwing up. And if we did make mistakes, we just look at it without judgment, without wrong or right, and just see it as a learning experience that we can be better tomorrow. Um, just as a segue, if any of you find anything in this conversation or have any questions, please put them in there and know that your subscription to this channel helps me spread a message of hope and reach people that may be in need, maybe you one day or maybe one of your loved ones. As an addiction recovery specialist, I'm putting myself out here every day for you to be a better person and to be present for you. And if you need help, I'm here, and there's a lot of people like me in the world. We don't need to do this craziness anymore. We can change. It's possible. If I can change and have the life I have, nobody in the world can tell me differently that you can't. That's a choice. When you make a decision to change, you'll change. Or you'll play games with it and keep getting what you get. Um, there's a lot of folks on here. I don't can't see down in here, but so any questions around addiction or recovery? Maybe you're struggling with something in your life. Throw it in the question box. Let's shoot it around. Let's talk about it. In my opinion, everything starts with a conversation and ends with a conversation with some action. If I have a problem, let's figure out a solution and how to implement it in your life and in mine. How's that sound? I'm gonna have some coffee. It's been a long day. I've been up since 6. Already driven all over Los Angeles helping people, and now I'm home to help and be present for you. And this space is yours. I'm just gonna hold the space. Any questions about life or struggles? Maybe it's not addiction. Maybe it's just how do I learn how to communicate better? How do I learn how to express my feelings better? All these things are things that we can do to be better people. Welcome in anybody coming in. I'm here talking about recovery and what that looks like. Recovery is bigger than just being sober. Recovery is learning how to overcome the past, heal those wounds that drove us to alcohol and substance abuse or whatever other addictive behavior we had or practice, and learn how to live a better life and develop new coping skills and help other people maybe by our experience. I see 10 people up in there, so I hope that I'm getting some subscriptions and likes because I need all the help I can get to help you and help your loved ones. Um, this is a new path for me, stepping out onto the public forum. I've been doing this a lot of years and a long time. Um, and really, I'm just here present for you. I get it. That's why I'm doing more long form and doing more of this. I'm putting shorts out a lot, but really, it's not substantive. Think about it. Most people that come into one of these stations on a live stream, you're sitting by yourself, you're home alone, or you're just sitting there doing nothing. And it's like you're just going through the motions. Whereas this at least affords us a conversation and I see you. You're somebody I see, maybe not right in front of me, but you're present and there's a conversation happening that may or may not help you move forward in your life in a better direction. And that's really what this is about is just being more present. Maybe it's time to tune into more of these type of things and less shorts. Although YouTube might not like me saying that too much because it's part of their bread and butter. And it's easier. I could throw a 60-minute short or 60-second short out or a 2-minute short out in about 2 seconds. Or be uncomfortable. I don't want to say uncomfortable, just be here and learning how to communicate with people over the live stream that I like to do every day. Um, that can be addictive. Addiction, the phone. I ask my wife sometimes she'll get caught up being a consumer rather than a producer. Are you consuming information or are you producing and helping yourself and helping other people? And I'd rather be creating than consuming. I'm just reading some of the stuff. Um, I don't know if blocks for 1 and 1 is 2. Yeah, okay. Um, if anybody has any family members or loved ones or you yourself struggle with any substance abuse, alcohol, addiction, or life issues that you struggle navigating or getting through, this is a place to talk about it. Recovery isn't just about the problem, that's the easy part. Recovery is about the solution. What does the solution look like? And for many people, it's learning how to live again. For many people with an addictive background, whatever that might be, you've been hiding or running away from something for so long, you've probably forgotten how to navigate life in a healthy way. I never did drugs, but like how is drugs so addictive? Well, it's like porn. You do it once, it feels good, you do it again. And the more you do it, the more you like it. It becomes this insidious little habit of escape or pleasure for a moment. But then you got to do it again and again and again. The problem with a substance is when you put it in your body, it's affecting this. It's changing the space in here or in here. And it's taking over the system in a way that's disruptive and that you can't control. How would I put it best? Okay. Generally speaking, I'll just, without my whiteboard and everything, which I need to do and do some shorts and some long form on, your brain has a couple key things I want to talk about. Your, your main brain, your cerebral cortex, your common sense, where your memories are, where all your experiences are, where your neural pathways basically, or your experience, your supercomputer. That's where all that information is. It's your executive functioning. And I'm doing this at a third grade level so we can all experience it. Behind that and woven into that is your amygdala, which is wrapped into your pleasure center of your brain that goes throughout the system. It's kind of interwoven in everything. And the amygdala is your reptilian or your primal brain. It's one of the oldest parts of the brain. And what happens is that part of your brain is the reason we're here. It deals with three distinct things, among other things, but procreation, pleasure, and survival. Well, we know the pleasure one, whether it's social drinking, using porn, whatever, the pleasure. Yes, got it. Procreation, got it. That's pretty much if that's not something that's written into our DNA, we're not here. And survival, well, yeah, we look out for ourselves. If there's a threat or a danger or perceived or real, we react or respond accordingly. And that part of our brain is very strong. Think about this. Have you ever in the morning got up late for work and did what I call one of those firemen where you had enough time to throw some water on your face, maybe brush your teeth and grab a cup of coffee on the way out the door? And you get to work and you're almost just a little early or a little late, but you make it. And it's one of those hell days where you work all day long. And about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you haven't eaten anything all day, you've been going on like a mad person, and you start to get that little queasy feeling in your stomach, that little nauseous headache feel going on. You know what that is. That's me, hunger. And what it is your amygdala, that little primal brain, is starting to usurp authority over your system. It's saying, hey, we need food, survival. And usually we blow it off because I got to get the job done. It gets louder and louder until we say, okay, I've stopped what I'm doing. I go have a sandwich or a bag of chips and a soda or something. Within 5 minutes, the amygdala has done its job and goes back and recedes into the background and lets go of control of the system. The headache, the nausea go away. I start to feel better. I can go back to work. That's how powerful the amygdala is when it comes to regulating those key parts of our system. Now let's throw drugs in there. If you've ever did something that makes you feel really good, that's a lot better than a hamburger or a bag of chips or a soda. And now when you put a substance in, alcohol, opiates, amphetamines, whatever, it's like makes a hamburger look like an ant. I mean, it fixes you, it makes everything better, it makes euphoria. It's like, oh, the angels are singing. And your brain goes, yes. And maybe it's social at the beginning. Remember, we talked about that earlier. But over time, it becomes medicinal because now I need that to function. That helps me cope with anxiety. That helps me cope with fear, with insecurity, with feelings of less than, or with trauma-based feelings. It takes that away, we discover. So we do more and we do more. And what we're doing is we're practicing and developing a habit of using a substance or a behavior to escape a feeling we don't want to deal with, or a situation, or whatever that might be. And now we're moving into abuse. And the more you do something, the more you need, and it moves into your tolerance level increases where you need more, and eventually you end up in dependency. And that dependency phase, unlike the social pleasure phase, that dependency phase is the survival phase. That's the phase that says, I have to have this at all costs. And just like the food, when you get hungry and the amygdala can override the system, well, what happens is the amygdala gets hijacked and it kicks in the survival mechanism where I need this substance, I need this behavior, or I get this loud knock, like I'm going to get sick, I'm not going to feel good, I don't know how to cope with this. So I do whatever it is I do and I'm better for a moment. But really, am I? Because at this point, when I'm in survival, it's not about pleasure. It's not even really about abuse. It's about I need this to feel better. I need this to survive. It's not normal for someone to run into a gas station with a gun and rob it for drug money. But you tell that to an opiate addict or a drug addict that's craving drugs to the point where their amygdala is like, you're going to get me the drugs or I'm going to drive you crazy. Your bones are going to hurt. Your body's going to hurt. You're going to go insane. That's what's going on in the mind of an addict when they're at full blown addiction. They have to have it. And inside, they know what they're doing is wrong, but it's like the amygdala has tied our common sense in the trunk and is driving the car and ain't hearing it. And no matter what you do, hey, the bridge is out, dummy. This is a bad idea. You go do it anyway. And everything falls apart. It goes bad. And the first thing we usually say to ourselves, damn, I knew better. What was I thinking? I should have listened. But we're not really in control. That's why when we look at addicts or alcoholics, I'm not saying we're not accountable for our behaviors, but it's not who we authentically are. It's what's happened is we've been hijacked by addiction, by our primal core being, which is natural to all humanity, and it's been warped. It's been hijacked, and we're doing things normally we would never do. So when you look at an addict or alcoholic next time, or you think about them, or you see, anything around that, realize the person in front of you isn't really the person in front of you. It's someone that's acting completely different and out of context to who they authentically are, but they're under an influence of a substance that's controlling them, like a ventriloquist dummy, if that isn't scary. Let me see. Does that answer that at all? I mean, understanding drugs, just like the porn or food. I got an issue with food. I've been sober 32 years, but you put good food in front of me, I'm in trouble. My wife says I eat like a pig because, I like food. And maybe I spoil myself. I don't think food's going to send me back to prison or have me hurt anyone, but I need to maintain myself there too. Um, Anybody else have any questions or thoughts? I appreciate anybody chiming in. If you could subscribe to the channel, your help goes a long way to growing this channel. Um, and if not, I just appreciate you stopping by. No obligation, man. I'm here for free. I'm here to talk about anything you want to talk about, addiction or alcohol related or life related that's problematic for you. Um, and I appreciate those people stopping in. I mean, I see a lot of traffic coming in. Hang out for a couple minutes, ask a question around alcohol or substances or problems in life, or if you have a loved one that's struggling, a family member that's struggling, and let's talk about it. I got a new book. I don't know if I can see it. The Spirituality of Imperfection. One of the best books I read, and I'm going to get ready to read through it again. I'm going to read a part of it, just random page. Spirituality itself is a gift. No one earns spirituality. No one can acquire it or possess it. For spirituality is a reality spontaneously, freely given, and gratitude is the only possible response to that gift. In that gratitude, from the understanding of how much has been given us and how gifted we are, we become able to see at work some reality higher, larger, greater than ourselves. That vision, which comes only to those who in some way have given up trying to control, makes possible a further giving up of claims and demands to control. We give up control because we finally understand that we are not in control. I love that book. I'm going to go about another 5 minutes. Any questions or thoughts? Your subscriptions always. I hate to beg, but man, I need the help. I want to help people. That's why I'm growing this channel. I want y'all to come back. Marita, I'm half blind. Marita, welcome. Yeah, I've been talking about alcohol and substance abuse or addiction and answering any questions or just being in the topic about it. I'm going to be here regularly and consistently. If you have loved ones, family members, friends, co-workers, someone that struggles with alcohol, substances, or other problems, let's talk about it. If you suffer, let's talk about it. I'm here for you. It's what I do every day of my life. I'm an addiction recovery specialist, and addiction is much bigger than alcohol or substances. It's a life issue. I'm going to be doing some more stuff. I'm going to be creating some shorts and some longer form content around addiction in the brain and recovery processes so that you get a better understanding of what addiction is and what addiction isn't. And maybe we can remove some of the stigma from it and maybe start to help people recover and heal and have better lives. That's at least my plan. Um, Appreciate you all being here today. I'm going to cut this off in a couple seconds. Any last questions or thoughts before I do? I'm going to keep paying attention here for a few minutes. And yeah, I'm going to shut up and listen. Maybe I'm going to go back to reading something in the book. Hey, Hendrix, welcome. I just been speaking on addiction and recovery, not just from drugs and alcohol, but from life and understanding what addiction is and what it isn't. Because there's a lot of people that just think of addiction as drugs and alcohol, and it's so much more. It's a natural part of our brain that we fall into, and drugs and alcohol is just the most obvious one. But a lot of people struggle with alcohol and substance abuse, and also a lot of people don't, but they have addiction or addictive problems. Um, Very nice. Hey, Marita, I appreciate YouTube doing that. Maybe it's something bigger than you and me that brought you here. Um, my job every day is to help people have better lives. Whether you're an addict or just someone that's struggling, that's really what this is about. Um, I know 32 years ago I was in a dark place and didn't know how to get out of it. And maybe it's not a dark place for some of you. Maybe it's something small. Maybe it's something that you're just struggling with, that you need a little help, a little coaching, maybe a couple of suggestions to move forward in life in a better way. Or maybe something that's holding you back from hope, something that you're stuck in. That's what this channel is about. And I appreciate you being here, Hendrix. Any of you, if you subscribe, you'll get notified and you can be a part of this community and we can grow it together because I need the help. I'm just one person, but together we're a community. And there's a lot of people out there struggling. Look around when you go out in your day to day affairs. No matter what country, what city you're in, people are struggling. And we have this solution within us and among us to do a great work. And that's what I hope to do with you and everybody that gets on this journey with me. Amen. Hendrix, that's what I do every day. And I agree with you 100%. The more people I surround myself with doing positive things, the better off my life is. And when I'm struggling, they're there for me and vice versa. Um, so, yeah, I appreciate the comment. And that's very true. I think that it takes a tribe, it takes a community, whatever that looks like for someone. And so, yes, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Um, if any of you are in recovery and you don't mind, I don't want to break your anonymity, but how long have you been sober if you don't mind putting it in the chat? I'm just curious. Let's show some hope here. Let's at least do an honesty check. I'm almost out of coffee, which is another one of my addictions. Ugh. Well, I appreciate all of you, and I will be back again. Let me see what my schedule. Tomorrow's a little crazy. So if I do come out and do another one tomorrow night, it'll probably just be an impromptu one. You know what? That's great. That's interesting you brought that book up. I just bought it the other day because I wanted to read it again. And guess who got it? My wife took it from me. She goes, I want to read this book. And she's reading that book right now as she's at work right now, but she's reading it. Very interesting. I love that book. Here's another book. If you ever get a chance, The Spirituality of Imperfection. 2+ years, no more bottle. Congratulations, brother. That's good. I mean, you know what the effect is and how better your life can be just by how you're living. And having good people around you doing good things. Just positive support and leaving something positive in the day. Congratulations. And that is a good book. So is that book, The Spirituality of Imperfection. Um, so I'm going to tune out because I have to go do a bunch of work from my earlier work today. I appreciate all of you joining in. I hope to see you again soon. Please subscribe, like, follow, all the above. Technology's beyond me. I'm just showing up for you and building this platform for us. Um, there's a lot of people out there, and I'm just one. So if I'm not the one, find somebody, but do something good for your life today because you deserve it. And I see you, and I know you. I believe in you. I'm going to be doing some storytelling about my experiences in recovery. All right, little brother. Um, I want to talk about stories in recovery so that you can connect maybe to something I have to say or in there asking your questions and having you come on and share. And if you're an addiction provider or professional or someone that works in the field that like to get into a conversation about something, email me at info@lifeoveraddiction.com and let's start a conversation and set up some work to help people. And with that, I wish you all well. May you have a great day. Thank you for being here. Bye.